We took a vote. You're too negative for New Year's, my brother said just a few hours before the party. I said, no problem. Then I froze the $7,400 event budget and called the venue. Security cleared everyone out at 11:57 p.m. It all started earlier that day. At 2:14 p.m., my brother sent a voice message in our family group chat. You're too negative for New Year's. Don't come tonight. You could even hear Emma laughing in the background. They made it sound polite, like they were uninviting me from dinner, not from the party I had planned, paid for, and worked on for 3 months. I didn't reply right away. I just stared at the screen, holding a receipt from the caterer. $7,412.80, all paid by me. Then the chat lit up. My cousin Toby joked, all savage but fair. Emma added, come on, we all agreed. It's a party, not a therapy circle. They had no clue I was still logged into the shared event planning file. I saw them rename tabs from Decor Budget to Fun Vibes Only. They didn't know I had the power to cancel everything. And they really didn't know I already had. I waited until 5:42 p.m. to reply, after they'd picked up the suits, the champagne tower, the custom LED countdown screen. I sent one text, no problem. Then I froze the budget, called the venue, and paid extra for private security. I asked them to shut it all down before midnight and tell the guests politely. When Emma arrived, dressed up in heels and glitter, the music had stopped. Lights were dim. Tables half cleared. A man in a suit stood at the door with an earpiece. He said, sorry, this event has been cancelled. Please exit by 11:57 p.m. I wasn't there. I didn't need to be. But I got the video at 12:03 a.m. Shaky footage of champagne spilling, my brother yelling, wait, what is happening? As the big screen went black. No countdown. No music. No kiss. Just silence and one glowing exit sign. It was my first New Year's alone in 5 years. And honestly, it was the most peaceful one I've ever had. My name's Michael. I'm 29. And I've always been the quiet one. The one who pays, fixes things, keeps the peace. Last year alone I gave over $18,000 to help my family. Some people would call that foolish. I called it faith. Faith that they'd eventually notice. Appreciate it. Maybe even say thanks. They didn't. My brother Jacob, 32 years old, still living at home, always talking about imaginary startups, said I wasn't welcome because I was toxic. My mom texted me, don't take it personally. Just don't ruin the vibe. The same vibe I paid for. 3 months ago they asked me to help plan a big New Year's party. Jacob said, let's make it special this year. Mom added, but cozy. Family focused. I said I could help with the money. They were thrilled. Jacob even said, you're our investor. That word stuck with me. I paid the first deposit, $3,000 for the venue. Then $1,800 for catering. Then money for decorations, a photographer, a banner, a projector, you name it. But once the money was in, the problems started. The family group chat got weird. Emma asked, can I bring some girlfriends? Jacob joked, are we getting a DJ or is Michael gonna play his sad playlist again? Eliza wanted a Vegas-style photo zone, the same Eliza who still owes me $600. When I said, we're over budget, they snapped back. You said you'd cover everything. Then Jacob said the line that changed everything. You're paying because you're toxic. This is your punishment. But we're in charge. I took a screenshot and saved it. That was the first file in my folder called proof_ofanity.zip. My mom stayed quiet like always. I messaged her directly, do you think this is okay? She replied an hour later, it's better if you just step back. Then Jacob's sister posted on Facebook. Finally, a celebration with no negative energy. In the background, decorations I paid for. Other family members either laughed or ignored it. When I hinted in the chat that I might not come, one of the cousins replied, who invited you? Oh. That's when I started collecting everything. Screenshots. Invoices. Bank transfers. Even the email from the venue proving I paid for everything. Then they really pushed me out, took me off group calls, deleted my access to the planning sheets, changed meeting times without me. When I asked about the menu, they told me, we already decided. It's better if you don't come. This is meant to be fun and light. I replied, you don't get it. But the worst part hadn't even happened yet. Then I got an email. The subject line said, Michael, Please step back. It was signed by 9 family members, including my own mother. It said, "We feel your energy doesn't match the vibe of the event. This isn't personal, it's about everyone's comfort. Please don't attend. Your financial help has been used and we're thankful, but we ask that you stay home. Sincerely, the family." You can forgive insults. You can even live with pain. But being erased from your own party, the one you paid for, that's not family. That's a cult with a shared bank account. That's when I decided, no fighting, no drama, just one click. Freeze the funds. "Oh, I'm coming," I said to myself. "Just not as your scapegoat." By 9:40 p.m. the place was packed. By 10:15 the champagne tower sparkled, the countdown screen was glowing, the DJ played throwback hits like it was 2011 again. They danced under the arch I paid for. Took selfies at the balloon wall I designed. The centerpieces on the tables? I paid for those too. Each cost more than Jacob makes in a week. They didn't say my name once. But I was watching. See, the venue had a live stream option. Something I added in case Grandpa couldn't come. They forgot about it. I didn't. At 11:35 p.m. while they laughed and threw confetti, I pressed publish. I uploaded a 7-minute video to the private family group chat. Title: Who paid for your party? The first frame showed me calmly holding receipts. I wasn't angry. I wasn't shouting. I said, "Weird how I became the villain, for paying for a party none of you could afford." Then I showed screenshots, bank transfers, invoices, the original planning spreadsheet with my name next to every expense. Then came the texts. From Jacob, "He's not invited. He's a buzzkill." From Eliza, "As long as he pays, who cares?" And finally the email. "Michael, please step back." I zoomed in on the signatures. I didn't say a word. Just let the screen speak for itself. Then came the audio. At 11:41 p.m. the music glitched. People thought it was a mistake, until they heard my voice. "You didn't invite me to the party I paid for, so I cancelled it." Silence fell over the room. You think I'm negative? I think I'm just the only one being honest. Then it got real. At 11:43, security got the signal. I'd spoken to the venue manager that morning, offered a $300 bonus per guard to follow my instructions to the letter. At 11:45 the music stopped. Lights dimmed. A tall man in a black suit with an earpiece walked to the center of the dance floor. He read from a clipboard. "Attention guests. This event has been cancelled by the primary contract holder. Please exit the building by 11:57 p.m. Happy New Year and good luck." Emma screamed first. She knocked over a tray of wine glasses. Jacob shouted at the guard. "He can't do this. He's not even here." Then the projector turned on. But it wasn't the countdown. It was the email. Their email. 10 feet tall. Every name. Every insult. Every line about energy and comfort up on the wall for everyone to see. Then came part 2 of the video. No one knew this was coming. Screenshots. Group chats. Secrets. Emma's private message to a friend. "If we keep him out, he'll just pay more to prove himself." A Venmo request from Eliza titled, "Emotional Support." And Jacob, he had emailed the venue 2 weeks earlier asking them to keep me off the guest list but put the bill in my name. All of it. Out in the open. At 11:49 someone finally tried to call me. I didn't pick up. I just sent one text. "You said I'm too negative." For the first time they weren't lying to themselves anymore. This wasn't being negative. This was a reset. At 11:57 p.m. the last guests were forced to leave. Emma was crying in the parking lot. Jacob was yelling into his phone. My mom? She just sat quietly on a bench, holding her clutch like it might give her answers. Me? I watched everything from home, sitting on a couch I bought in an apartment none of them have ever visited. I poured a cheap glass of champagne, mine, and quietly raised it to the screen. Happy New Year. 3 days passed. No one called. No one posted anything. It was suspicious. Normally, Emma would have shared party pics. Jacob would have caused some drama. But now. Silence. I recognized it. It was a tactic. They were trying something new. Quiet pressure. They thought if they ignored me long enough I'd feel guilty and come crawling back. But I didn't feel bad. I wasn't playing their game anymore. On the 5th day my mom finally called. I didn't answer. She left a voicemail. "Michael, we need to talk." No drama. Just a conversation. We all went too far. You come on Saturday to where your father kept his things. The storage unit. We want to sort everything out. The storage unit? That was unexpected. Felt like more than just a talk. I grabbed my portable hard drive and a flash drive I'd saved for emergencies. Parked a block away and walked. The storage place was old. Faded yellow walls. Worn out sign, easy store. Unit B13. When I got there, the door was already open. Inside were Jacob, Emma, and Mom. No hello. No hugs. No coffee. Just silence so heavy you could hear someone dragging a mattress in the next unit. Mom gave me a small nod. Thanks for coming. We just want to settle this. Settle what? I asked, sitting on a plastic chair by some boxes. What's this really about? Then Jacob started talking, slowly like he'd rehearsed it. We know we went too far. But what you did was harsh too. Families asking questions. We're ashamed. Ashamed. I repeated. I finally stopped staying quiet. Emma jumped in. We didn't think it was that serious. You used to say you didn't care about this kind of stuff. You kicked me out of a party I paid for. Silence again. Then came the twist. Mom said, we want to give you something. It's only fair. She went to the back and pulled out a small safe with a combination lock. These are your dad's things. He told us to give it to you when the time felt right. When you realized family is more important than hurt feelings. And this is that time? I asked. You're at a crossroads, Michael, she said. If you take the safe, it means you forgive us. If you walk away, it's over. No coming back. I stood up and walked to the safe. What's in it? His business records. Some joint property. He put part of it in your name. If you walk away, we lose everything. There was not an apology. Not love. Just blackmail. I pulled the flash drive from my pocket, plugged it into my laptop and turned the screen toward them. See this? Copies of every payment. All the receipts. But I brought something new too. I opened a folder labeled Rental Fraud, December 2024. Their faces went pale. Remember how I paid the deposit for your new apartment, Mom? All the payments went through my account. She whispered, what did you do? I checked the lease. The landlord had no idea you'd be living there. I signed the agreement. That's called fraud. I stood up. But here's the choice. You keep the safe. I'll take what's mine. In 2 days, the landlord gets a termination notice. You'll be evicted. No refunds. Emma started crying. Michael, please, you can't do this. I already did. I walked out. No one followed. No shouting. Just 3 people sitting in silence, like a courtroom after the verdict has been read. The next morning, I drove back to the same building. Not to Unit B13. To B03, my unit. I grabbed a box labeled rental records plus legal backups and took it to my new office. I now rented a small space in a business center recently bought by the same company where I was no longer just the IT guy. I was a shareholder now. At 2 p.m. the real estate agent called. They got the letter. Landlord's furious. Terminations in motion. Will they have time to move out? I asked. If they're out by Saturday, yes. Then Saturday it is. At 5:23 p.m., Jacob sent me a message. You really did it. I didn't reply. A month after I had them evicted, things went quiet again. But this was real silence. Not the kind you fix with music or headphones. The kind you feel in your bones. No buzzing fridge. No texts or calls. No one asking me for anything. I didn't reach out. I didn't wonder how they were doing. I just lived, peacefully, quietly. Then out of nowhere I got an email from a delivery company. You have a delivery scheduled for Friday between 9 to 11 o'clock. Sender, Family Harris. Size, 1 crate. Weight, 62 pounds. I didn't order anything. I never gave them my new address. But somehow they found it. Of course they did. On Friday morning a white van showed up. The driver barely looked at me. Sign here. What is it? I asked. They said you'd know. I signed. He left. Inside the crate were documents, old photos, a box of flash drives and a keyring. One key stood out. I knew it right away. V13. The storage unit. They'd left me one last puzzle to solve. That Saturday I went. Not because I hoped for some apology but because I knew them. They don't leave loose ends. And if they gave me something it probably had a hidden catch. I unlocked the unit. It was mostly empty. Just one dusty cardboard box in the middle labeled in my old handwriting. Stuff 2007. I'd totally forgotten it existed. Inside were pieces of my childhood. A science fair project. A comic I made by hand. A broken toy car. Old birthday cards with crayon scribbles. And at the very bottom, a black sheet of paper. Neatly printed. No handwriting. Sharp edges. Read. We took too much. We turned you into a tool, not a son. But we never hated you. We envied your strength. We made fun of what we couldn't control. Was it a surprise? Yes. Did it fix anything? No. It wasn't an apology. It was guilt, dressed up as something deeper. Just a tiny piece offering to make them feel better. No face-to-face. No real ownership. I tore the paper, slowly, into tiny strips. Then came the real twist. As I was closing the unit, a man in a suit appeared. Neat hair. Holding a tablet. Calm face. Michael Harris? Yes. He handed me a folder. Your parents submitted a loan application last week. They listed you as the co-signer. Old address. Real personal info. What? We noticed issues. Some of the data looks off. We need to ask. Would you like to file a fraud report? I looked at the papers. I recognized the handwriting. They'd used my signature. How much money? $78,000. The deposit's already gone. The rest is still under review. Right now, you're legally responsible unless you file a dispute. I let out a dry laugh. They weren't done. They never stop. What started as guilt tripping had become straight-up identity theft. They thought I wouldn't notice. That I wouldn't fight back. That Monday, I filed a police report. I gave them everything, emails, texts, proof I never signed anything. A week later, the police called. We're opening a case. This isn't small. The sad part? They thought giving me the key was some kind of peace gesture. But really it was evidence. Proof of what they'd tried to hide. They thought I'd open a box of old memories, feel soft again and let my guard down. But they forgot who I am now. I'm not guilty. Not for helping too much. Not for staying too long. Not for loving the wrong people. And I'm done being used. On Wednesday I changed the locks at my office. On Thursday I shut down every shared account they ever had access to. On Friday I changed my phone number. For the last time. I kept one backup drive. Not out of fear, just for principle. That same day I was on my way to meet my new business partner. She respected me and didn't know a single thing about my past. As I walked I saw a billboard I hadn't noticed in years. It said, "Family isn't who shares your blood. It's who doesn't bleed you dry." I stopped. Took a photo. Not for social media. Not to send to anyone. Just for me. Then I walked into that meeting. Signed the lease on my second office. Poured a cheap cup of coffee from the lobby machine. And I smiled. For the first time in my adult life I didn't owe anyone anything.